Well, welcome everyone. It's not officially December, but we're kicking off December a day early because the holiday season is upon us. And this month for the Cultural Club, we are talking cookies, holiday cookies, because there are so many different cultural elements to cookies and traditions around that I thought it would be a really fun kind of holiday thing that we can just kind of talk about. And then our next club meeting will be on the 14th of December, and we'll do a bake along for that one. So we'll pick a cookie or two and have fun with that. So welcome, y'all. You know, probably at this point that the club meetings are way more informal than classes. So it's really just a conversation for us to talk about the topic and also anything that kind of falls within that. And we deviate sometimes, and that's part of the beauty of club meetings. So I guess the first question I have for everyone is, what is your favorite holiday cookie? There's a big gamut there.
Sugar, definitely sugar.
Sugar, I love it. Do you do the sugar cookies with like the royal icing on top or just plain sugar?
No, I do it with the little, is it like the sprinkle crumbles or like
Mm,
yeah,
yeah, I love that. The nice little crunch on the exterior.
yeah,
I love
definitely.
it. Awesome. James, how about you?
I was thinking I think I like whoopie pies. I don't really like cookies.
Whoopie pies.
Whoopie pies are
Gotcha.
good though.
Yeah, whoopie pies are kind of that weird middle ground where it's kind of like a cake, but it's also a cookie.
Cookie.
It's
And
good.
it's funny because I work at Publix and
Mhm.
Publix took the whoopie pie and renamed it. They call it a yo-yo cookie.
Mm,
I keep referring to it as a whoopie pie because that's what it is.
yeah.
Publix can't take something and rename it and call it theirs. I said,
Hey, I mean, a lot of people will do that. There are so many different types of
I'm
cookies
gonna need
that
them
are
to
really
not.
just spun.
I
But
need to find out who they are. Go into that store and order it from what I know it is.
that's
For
sorry, I'm
example,
dealing with a cold.
a
Yeah,
large coffee from Starbucks.
right, a venti.
What
Yeah,
size large? Large.
yeah. Yeah, they know what you're talking about when you order it though, which
I
is
hope
helpful.
so.
Yeah, they do. But you know, it does kind of look like a yo-yo, so I give it to them for re-engineering that. But it's a whoopie pie.
It's a whoopie
It's a
pie.
whoopie. Nice.
Thank you
Classic
for
type of
confirming
whoopie
that with
pie.
me. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to corroborate. Do you do the like pardon me, I'm getting over a cold. Do you like the marshmallow filling in there? What type of whoopie pie topping or
There's a couple
basis do
one
you
I
like?
used to do for a catering company. I did red velvet cookie, and in the middle of the cream cheese, the lemon zest, make it like look
Ooh,
like a
yeah.
yeah, red velvet cake.
Hmm. Awesome. That
Mm,
sounds
that
There's
delicious.
sounds
that one,
good.
and there's a chocolate chip cookie, which we put chocolate mousse
Hmm.
and lemon crinkle. Lemon
Ooh,
crinkle whoopie pie.
nice. Very
Lemon
nice. I
crinkle
like
lemon crinkle cookies are hard to make. Not hard, but they're a pain.
they
Not
are.
easy.
They're a little finicky. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
was
sensitive.
really
Very sensitive.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's the lemon in it. It does some weird stuff to
Yeah,
batter.
lemon and the powdered sugar thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I always like the pumpkin whoopie pies during like the fall. Those
I
are
didn't
good
try
too.
that.
Yeah, it's you can do like a pumpkin spice one because that beautiful moisture from the pumpkin puree does a really nice job to create that moisture for the whoopie pie. So options galore.
Definitely.
Abby, what about you? What's your favorite holiday cookie?
Sorry, I'm trying to get my lunch together still, but
Okay.
I have a couple things to say because in college, when I was getting my undergraduate, uh, there was this RA that went out and delivered these pumpkin cookies. And clearly this like she can bake. Like they were so good. And she like left them on our porch and it was Fairbanks, so everything got frozen. But it was like we were defrosting the cookies inside so we could eat them. And the texture is like something I'll never forget. The frosting was like something I'll never forget. And in with the bag of cookies, she gave us the recipe. And I try to make it every year, and it's never ever the same.
Hmm.
And I think now that I have a smidge more know-how, I think that my flour has just never been. I think I need more of it. But anyway, it was kind of like a cross between like it was a pumpkin cookie
Mhm.
that was like a cross between like a cookie and a muffin, but it wasn't a scone. It was like had more moisture than that. And
Yeah.
but it had like a maple frosting on top and it was so good. So
Mm.
that if I have to eat a cookie, like that's what I like. But I'm not a cookie person. I like making cookies, I think, more than I like eating them.
Yeah.
But fresh out of the oven, you can't beat any. I mean, any cookie is good fresh out of the oven.
Right.
That's
But-
familiar to a red velvet cookie.
Yeah.
Very soft.
But my favorite, like for Christmas, is for sure the Paris wafer. That's like a family tradition.
Mm.
And it's basically like pie crust with frosting in the center. Like, how could you not like that?
Yeah, that sounds delicious. You keep,
Yeah. It's great. I mean, I'm probably, it's, my grandma would just make the best. And I remember I put this in the discussion too, but she had to hide it every year. And every year she had to have new hiding places because the family members would just bust into the Paris wafers before it was even Christmas.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then my mom, she's a really good baker too. She makes these, like, I guess it's technically not a cookie, but it's like a bar
Mhm.
that has like a shortbread crust. She makes her own caramel and then she puts a bunch of like salted mixed nuts on top. Like it's very easy, but it's one of my stepdad's favorites. So we get it every single year. And my first year away from like moving away from Petersburg, I was like, okay, I need to make these cookies. I need them in my life.
Right.
But so those are my favorites.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I feel like I'm very similar with cookies where I love to make them for other people. It's always something that I really enjoy, like making in large batches and like packaging them up and putting them like in cool little tins, especially during the holidays. But I'm usually like, here are the cookies. I have made them for you, not for me to eat. But I'm a snickerdoodle person. So it's like a sugar cookie, but with the cinnamon sugar on it.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Love a good snickerdoodle, but they can't be too old because then they get stale, you know?
Right. Yeah. Snickerdoodles are a really big thing here. Like a lot of the coffee shops have, I'm still learning about the area, but snickerdoodles here are like the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always kind of funny thinking about, I was looking into the history of holiday cookies, which usually people always think about Christmas, but there are honestly so many holidays during December that span far beyond Christmas. And looking at kind of how cookies evolved over history, it was kind of funny because they were actually, especially in Europe in the Middle Ages, like using heavily spiced items. So like ginger and nutmeg, those were ways to kind of preserve it a little bit longer and also like travel with the cookies. So you're basically making the cookies to be eaten months later, which obviously is not what we do most of the time nowadays with cookies. We kind of want to eat them like hot and ready right now. But it's kind of funny to think about. I remember there is classic in like Christmas films and things like that, but like gingerbread people and having them on the Christmas tree, they're hard as rocks. Like nobody wants to eat that, but the whole point was to actually keep it in a cellar and keep them longer, which I think is so crazy to think about. The preservation there to like share a treat with somebody else. It's just kind of a cool way to think about cookies.
That's probably how ginger snaps came.
I feel like ginger snaps are one of those like precarious cookies where you want it to have that beautiful snap, but they can't be too hard. They're very finicky,
Yeah.
but they're good.
Fine line. Yeah.
I appreciated the article that you shared because I didn't know that. I mean, I would have never even looked into Christmas cookies.
That was fun to read.
But it was a really neat article and it makes a lot of sense, and and I thought it was especially cool about the gingerbread because I have a friend that just obsesses about making them every year, and our family never really did that. We don't really have like a great gingerbread recipe, but if you have like a good, your ginger snap or gingerbread cookie recipe in the family, people are usually all about that during the holidays.
Right. And it's always really interesting too, thinking about how like you can use gingerbread to make pretty structurally sound objects too. So like thinking about gingerbread houses and like the crazy creations people make. Like I've seen Hogwarts done in gingerbread before. So like it's structurally a really strong cookie. So you can do some really cool stuff with it. But I'm kind of on that line of like, if it's good for architecture, do I want to eat that? It's kind of like maybe not. I'll eat the like candies off of it, but it's fun to play with, I think, personally. So
It has that back of the throat. What do you mommy? Feel into it, yeah.
yeah, it's intense. I think that's, it's the ginger in it too, because it's such a warming spice. But I think it's also, usually gingerbread has that molasses in it, so you get those like deep caramelized notes to it as well, which most other cookies don't have those ingredients in it. So it's like its own little thing.
Also, the cloves kind of like numb your mouth.
Mhm.
I hadn't had cloves in such a long time, and then pumpkin stuff. This year, what did I have? I can't remember what item. I think it was like pumpkin bread, and I ate it, and I was like, oh my god, my whole mouth like feels numb, and it's because of the amount of cloves that they put in it.
That's intense. It's funny because so many spices historically have been used for like medicinal properties, although arguably a cookie is a cookie, but nobody's eating a cookie to feel better, except maybe emotionally. But, like cloves, they've got that effect. And then also like nutmeg, if you ate a copious amount, you could actually have hallucinations, which is crazy. You'd have to have like a ton of it. But like spices are very, very potent. You think about Szechuan peppercorns, which normally you wouldn't see in a cookie, but that could be kind of a fun play. That would totally numb your mouth too. So it's funny to think how spices, just a little amount goes a super long way,
Especially with those ones where they're really, really strong. And I remember there was this one guy that was like, he had all the confidence in the world. Like I would love to just have a quarter of his confidence. And he was, he knew that I was like really into food, and he's like, I'm going to make you my apple pie. I have the best apple pie recipe, la-di-da. And he didn't measure anything. He just kind of made it all on his own. This was a coworker. I was at a remote camp. It was summertime. And so he made me his apple pie. And I was like, he was adding the cinnamon, and I could tell he messed up. Like he didn't mean to add that much.
Right.
And I was like, do you think he maybe added too much cinnamon? And he's like, you can never have too much cinnamon. And then,
you can.
It was way too much.
You remember that cinnamon challenge that they did?
Awful.
Yeah.
Totally like that when you were like eating his pie. I was like, oh no. Where can I politely like go to spit this out?
Spit that out. Oh my gosh. See, these are the dangers of not measuring. Although arguably, I will say over the Thanksgiving break, I made a pecan pie, and I did not. By now, it's by volume in my head, but like that's a tricky business to be in if you're not doing that on a daily basis. That's
hilarious. I did the same thing with the pecan pie because we our measuring cups were being washed in the dishwasher, but we like had to go over to my friend's house, and so I was like, you know what? I don't need to measure pecans. I know what a cup of pecans looks like.
Right.
And I know what I can figure this out.
Right.
And it was good. It was good. But I think pecan pie is one of the easier things to make without measuring cups.
Yeah. And like pie dough, the feeling of it, where it's getting to that shaggy mass. Like it's not, once you know that the feeling of things and in the volume or the ratio is visually, it's a little bit easier. Obviously not what we would want to do if we were feeding 100 people and just kind of winging it. But for a pie at home, it's fine. I didn't even have a rolling pin. I used a bourbon bottle. You make it happen.
Oh, that's brilliant. I was like, okay, I don't have a rolling pin. Eric, you're just going to have to press this into the pie tin with your hands.
If you have something cylindrical, it'll work. We didn't even have a pie pan. I went for the cast iron. You go for what you have, right? So And it's funny thinking about cookies too. I'm trying to loop it back around a little bit.
Oh yeah,
but
sorry.
yeah, no, I love the conversations that we have here. Thinking about like different cookie shapes too, because we've got ones that are cut out, but there's actually a lot of rolled out cookies too, where they've got really cool shapes on it. There's even cookie presses, drop cookies. There are 1,000 different ways to make a cookie look a way too, which is it's kind of funny to think about what those shapes symbolize too, because some cookies have like symbolic meaning. It's kind of fun. I think most people think of like round cookies, but like in my family, we used to do like the sugar cookies in like the candy cane shape, or like one of the more trendy things right now is with the royal icing and doing like super intricate ornaments and things like that. So, I think it's something that continuously evolves. It's kind of cool to see the artwork that people put on cookies over in a short period of time.
That was something my mom would also do. She had her cookie cutter drawer has overflowed into like this full-blown dresser. And that was also something. Every holiday she had like a 4-leaf clover. She had turkeys. She has all these things, and
That's awesome.
That is a fun way to also, because sugar cookies are pretty easy to make if you have a good recipe. That's an easy thing to make, cut into fun shapes and give it to your neighbors or friends or something.
Yeah, I still have some cookie cutters because for a while people were gifting them to me, which is totally fine. I'm happy to have kitchen utensils. I have one that's a spoon and a knife, and then somewhere in my house I have one that's a chef's hat, and it's so cheeky. I mean, like, there's no holiday that it makes sense for, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make cookies for other chefs and be like, here's your chef hat, here's your toque. Like, it's kind of weird, but I think there's some really interesting cookie cutters out there. I think that would be kind of a cool discussion, just like share photos of your weirdest cookie cutter. I think that would be kind of fun. Right.
I think my pride and joy one is I have the shape of a salmon.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it's weird to have cookie cutters that are just like innocuous shapes, but we do that. Like, humans do that. We just make things into weird shapes. It's I used to teach pasta classes to little kids every so often, and after we make the pasta dough, we're rolling out ravioli, and I'm showing them how to make like tortellini, and I'm like, here's some dough, just have fun with the dough. And the amount of like dinosaurs and like weird mythical creatures that came out of pasta dough, it did not cook very well, but humans like to create. I think kids are a little bit more adventurous with that, but I think the cookie cutters sometimes do the same thing. It brings out the inner kid in us.
Yeah. I was the maid of honor at my best friend's wedding, and he loves cooking just as much as I do. And so there's conveniently in Utah, or probably in other places too, not where I'm living, they have, like cooking classes in there in certain grocery stores. And so I was like, okay, I called the grocery store and I was like, hey, this is a bachelor party. We would love to make something really simple. Right. So of course pasta was he's like, we can get the dough ready. And at first before the wine started pouring, it was very sophisticated. The cheese tray was really great. And then of course, as everybody started drinking more and more wine, the shapes of the pasta that were created got a little bit X-rated and they did not cook very well.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would, but pasta parties are fun for all ages, right? So yeah. So it's thematic.
It's funny because the shapes that you have, like cookies and everything, it's like they're around for ages because they actually do cook really well. And then there's somebody that tries to
deviate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even a little bit more PG, like the star cookies, like those points are always so difficult to bake so consistently because the points always cook faster than that core part. Or if you've got different types of cookie cuts on the same tray. So, even baking them can be a pain in the tuchus. So I get that. Especially with pasta, if you're trying to simmer oddly shaped things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't end well. That doesn't end well, but that's okay.
You're eating gummy
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, not ideal, but fun in the moment. That's for sure. We have only a couple more minutes, so I wanted to get your insight on what we should bake for the next club meeting. What do y'all think? What type of cookie? Or we can deviate from the cookies and do another holiday thing. I'm totally all ears.
I'm down to learn some new things because I'm not really a baker. I'm more of on the cooking side, but my family is really into the baking. So I'm down to bake along with whatever y'all got.
Awesome. I love it.
What about like a little Windsor cookie or something like that?
Ooh, a Windsor cookie. That would be fun. I like
Windsor
that idea.
cookie? Windsor? Is it Windsor or Lindsor?
Lindsor, the one
Lindsor.
with the jam in the center.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
Lindsor. Yeah, Lindsors are delicious. They're a little bit trickier because the jam. We'll do the option of either making your own jam or buying some jam, because I know that's probably a lot more economically faster at that point. But Lindsor's a good one. I like that. It's a little bit more complicated, not just like here, scoop the cookie. So
you had me going too, James, on the what was it called? The whoopie pie?
Whoopie pies.
Whoopie pies.
How you were saying you can do different like flavors with them and stuff. I started getting my mouth started watering.
Yeah, that would be a really good one too.
Yeah.
Like an eggnog whoopie pie or something.
A lemon crinkle.
We could do
No,
the
I
lemon
was
crinkle.
sold on that red velvet.
That's all. The
James, you want to share
Indeed,
some
icing.
recipes and we could make some of that happen?
I gotta hunt some down. I don't have them anymore. I don't do catering anymore. It's a long time ago, like in my
Gotcha.
younger days.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I can also do some research too. I've made a few
I can
whoopie
look
pies
for
in my
one.
day.
I got the red velvet one somewhere.
Awesome. Yeah, if you find it, send it to me.
Yeah.
We'll make that. If not, I'll find another whoopie pie recipe. But I think that could be fun because everybody can modify it their own way too. If you want to do some different spices or make it red velvet versus crinkle, I mean, there's a little bit of variation. But
red velvet's kind of different than a cookie itself because it's the cake flour and not cake flour, cake mix.
Gotcha. It does the cake
flour,
mix.
The mix,
Nice.
not the cake flour. That's how I
Right.
messed up one time. I was trying to hurry up and make my red velvet whoopie pies, and not thinking because I was flying through and it was close to the end of the day. Like last thing I had to do, not thinking. I read the recipe as cake flour, not
cake mix. Big difference.
That comes out a little bit differently.
Yeah, a little bit.
differently.
But we've all done it. I was actually just telling a coworker of mine, we were talking about pita bread. And when I was in culinary school, we were making pita bread as in our Cuisines of the Mediterranean course. And I was on the meze station. So it was like one of a couple different items that I was making for the day. And I kept mismeasuring the liquids. So I made the dough and I'm like, this doesn't look right. I'm like, I don't know what I did. I thought I measured everything out. And then, so I trash it, I remake it again, still not right. We ran out of flour in the kitchen and I went to a ground campus. So I'm running to another kitchen, like knocking on chef's doors, like, please, can you give me some whole wheat flour so I can make my pita? It all worked out. I got yelled at a few times and then they gave me the flour, but it was all measuring, things happen. So the pita came out fine after my traumatizing experience of begging and pleading for flour.
Yeah.
So it's all good. But yeah, whoopie pies. I like that.
Out of the way early.
I like the whoopie pie idea too, because people can just kind of choose their own filling,
Yeah. It's like choose your own adventure for the holiday filling or
Oh, and the lemon crinkle. The lemon crinkle cookie was I think it was, I can't remember if it was icing or if it was cream cheese icing and blueberries.
ooh,
Ooh.
lemon and blueberries
in
is
the
a very
icing.
good combo. Yeah. Nice.
Lemon crinkle.
Nice. Yeah, we'll go ahead.
Oh, sorry, for whoopie pies. do you have to have a certain cooking sheet, or can you just do it on a regular like half
Regular
sheet?
cooking tray.
Yeah,
It just
sheet
takes like a
tray.
cookie.
I usually do some parchment paper just because it's a little bit easier to remove them, but yeah, total normal
Okay,
tray is
cool.
totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom will love if I learn how to make whoopie pies. She would love it. She has a fond memory of them too.
That's
And
awesome.
she makes them. She
I
makes them
learned-
for my nephews. But
Very cool.
I
Yeah,
learned
it's
that lemon crinkle cookies take a lot of lemon zest, and you only get 1 gram of lemon zest per lemon.
mhm.
I had to make a lot of lemon crinkles one time, so I had to zest like 30, 40 different lemons.
Ugh,
So I had to make a lot of lemon crinkles.
ugh.
what did you do with the juice?
The
Lemonade.
savory kitchen took care of that. I just needed
So
the zest.
Ugh. Well, at least the lemons
I was in the
didn't go to
baking
waste.
side, so I didn't have to worry about the savory side.
Yeah. Too good. Too good. But yeah, no, we'll definitely do. I love the idea of the whoopie pies. I'll put together a couple different recipes, James. If you find your recipe though, I would love to incorporate it so that we
Look
Have an
through some
expert.
of my Google Chrome pictures. yeah.
excellent. I love it. But I think
Somewhere
that'll
in there.
be
Like
super
5
fun.
years ago.
There you go. It's all good. I like that. I think, you can't have too many cookies. And it's like the whoopie pies is such a nice combination between like a cookie and a cake because the textural difference, or like a cupcake. So, because I do that with my cupcakes,
Yeah.
I take the top off and I flip it over and I squish it because then it's redistributed. I'm weird that way. So it's
I've never heard of that. But
Yeah,
now
what?
I want to do that.
it's so good because basically you take off the cupcake wrapping on it, you flip it, you basically cut off or like rip it off exactly at that muffin top and you flip it over. It's like a cupcake hamburger.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Great
So
idea.
right,
Yeah.
Ingenuity. We all have something in our life that we eat weirdly, which can be a totally
Resourceful.
different talk. Yeah.
You got to stretch out that frosting.
Well, that's the thing is like if you just have it on the top, the ratio is not right because you don't you don't eat all of the cupcake with just the buttercream on it. That doesn't make sense. It's illogical. So
There's your
I'm-
$1 million idea. Just make little cupcake sandwiches.
I know, right? They're called whoopie pies. So somebody beat me to the punch, but
Whoopie cakes. That'd be whoopie cake, wouldn't it?
whoopie cake. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a
whoopie
little cake deviation in
Cakes
the
and
pie.
whoopie pies.
I know, right? Now I got to figure out how to patent this. Like, it's gonna be good.
Brilliant idea. You're a genius.
Thanks all for making me a millionaire. So
Yeah.
You're welcome. Not work in your kitchen.
yeah, I can. We'll come
Called
up
the
with more
idea.
ideas. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the ideas. That's half the battle, right? So, y'all, we're just at pretty much 5:00. Our meetings always go by kind of quickly, but it was fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I will send out some recipes around the 10th or 11th. I'll also post them on the discussion forum. I still have an email list that I think some people are signed up on, but otherwise I'll put it in the discussion forum. But if y'all need anything, hopefully you know where to find me. If not, just actually I'll put it in my chat because I think Abby and James both know, but this is my email. And yeah, I'll see y'all in a couple weeks. I know this is like crazy holiday time and also school time. So hang in there and stay warm if you're in a cold place. And I'll see y'all on the 14th for some whoopie pies. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Chef Steph.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.